Hi, I'm Jo from J.H.Leather, and in this video I'm going to talk to you all about the two other knives that I use on a regular basis for my leather work. So these knives are the paring knife and also this handy fixed blade craft knife. Now we'll start with the paring knife. So I use this for doing skiving, and you'll see it in a lot of my videos if I'm making wallets and sort of small leather goods. Because I use this knife for skiving, we need to make sure that it is nice and sharp so we get the best results. To start with, if you are new to sharpening, what I recommend is that you put some marker pen on the edge of the cutting blade. And so that's going to give you a good indication when you come to the sharpening as to what areas you're actually sharpening and what areas you need to sharpen. Once we have put some marker pen on the edge of our knife, we're going to use some wet and dry paper. When you do your initial sharpening, when you've just got your blade, you're likely to need quite a rough grit. So for this, we're going to be using 320. And what we want to do is we want to make sure that we are actually going to be sharpening the cutting edge of the blade. We're going to start by having our knife flat on our wet and dry paper, and then we're going to slowly rock that up so only the cutting edge is in contact with the paper. Now we know how to hold our knife. What we're going to do is we're going to draw that back away from the cutting blade and repeat that as necessary, and we're going to go down through the grit, ending on a grit 1000 or something thereabouts. Now we have the cutting edge nice and sharp and polished. What we need to do is we actually need to take off any burrs that are on the back of the blade. So what we need to do is just flip that over, and now we need to hold that flat on our wet and dry paper and pull that back towards us. And all that's going to do is just remove any burrs that have got onto the back of the blade. We can then go on and do our final polish on our strop board. So this is going to be the same technique as we used earlier, where we were dragging the blade away from the cutting edge. And then we'll flip that over and do the same on the back. As you can see, my knife is now nice and sharp, and it can easily skive through this pigskin, as well as its 3.5 to 4mm veg tan bridle butt. Moving on to this little craft knife. Now this is really handy for cutting out small leather pieces, and I really enjoy using it. And you can also use it for a little bit of skiving, as I have done in some of my previous videos. To sharpen this, we're going to be using a similar method. We are going to put some marker pen on the end if you need to, and then we're going to start on our wet and dry paper. Now the one I have here is pretty sharp as it is, so I'm just going to do this to show you the method on some 1000 grit paper. So similar to when we were sharpening the paring knife, what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that the cutting edge is the only thing that's in contact with the wet and dry paper, and we're going to pull that knife away from the cutting edge, sharpening it as we go. Once we're happy we've done the cutting side, we can then flip that blade over and then get off any burrs on the back of the blade. Now I've just raised this onto my strop board just so you can see what I'm doing, because what I would usually do is have this hanging so it's over the edge of the bench, but it was a bit easier to show you guys whilst having it raised on top of the bench. As you can see, this blade is now nice and sharp also, and it can easily cut through this veg tan pigskin, as well as this 2.5mm veg tan shoulder leather. So that is the end of this video. I hope you learned something new and enjoyed watching, and if you did, please click the thumbs up button and subscribe for more videos and tutorials, and I shall see you in the next video. Also, for those of you that are interested, I am working on some merchandise, and they might look a bit like this, but there will be more information on that soon.